Hey friend, can you relate to any of these? Maybe you are so overwhelmed by mess and you have no clue where to start. Or you've tried organizing dozens and dozens of times, but no matter what you've done or tried, the mess always comes back. Maybe you're sick and tired of constantly moving things from pile to pile to pile throughout your house while making no true progress. Or maybe you're just so frustrated over the cluttered countertops, always losing things. Or maybe this is you. The mess bothers you and it's gotten so big, you've tried to ignore it for a while, but it's gotten so big and out of control. Again, you're paralyzed, you feel stuck, and you have no clue where to begin. If you caught yourself nodding your head, it doesn't have to be complicated. And I'm so happy you're here because we're going to be digging into 3 simple steps you can do today to start decluttering. If we haven't met yet, hello, I'm Katie Wells. I'm a declutter expert. And through my podcast, this YouTube channel, and my online programs, I have helped thousands of families successfully declutter and keep the clutter away. So you ready to dive into these 3 tips today? Number 1, commit. I see this time and time again, especially in the beginning of the new year, right? We set all these big goals like getting healthy and having a different diet, maybe exercising or decluttering. And what happens? We're usually consistent for a day, a week, maybe a month. And then in a short matter of time, we give up. We get too overwhelmed. Usually it's because we take on too big of a lifestyle change too fast. The same thing goes with decluttering. I see people who just aren't able to commit for longer than 1 to 4 weeks max. Like anything in life that is worthwhile, it takes consistent action a little bit every single day to see sustainable long-term results, which is what I want for you. But you want to hear something really cool? You don't need to anymore look for elusive 2, 3, 4-hour chunks of time in your day to try and declutter. Instead, look for 5 minutes here, 60 seconds there, 10, 15, 20 minutes. These little bits of time that you can declutter throughout your day when the baby's napping or when the kids are in bed at night, all these truly add up and make a huge impact on your home. Do not underestimate these little chunks of time you can get some decluttering in. The really beautiful thing about decluttering is it pays massive dividends in the short run and the long run. Yes, I totally get it. It takes time, it takes energy, but it pays off. It saves you time and it saves you energy, whether it's tomorrow or a month or 6 months or a year from now. There is nothing else that can provide that type of long-term dividend like decluttering can, which is why it's worth it. So commit to it. Think about the purpose. Why do you want a decluttered home? Is it for your mental health like it was for me? Is it because you want less stress? Is it because you want to come home, walk through your front door at the end of the day and feel like it's a refuge and it's a calm, peaceful space where you can actually relax? All those are valid reasons. So write out quickly in your phone or on a notepad why it is that you want to declutter. And anytime you don't feel like getting your 5 minutes or 10 minutes in, look at that reason and go, I'm just going to get my few minutes in today and I'm going to feel so much better. An easy way to commit is to just pick one small category at a time. So let's say paper clutter is a beast you know you need to tackle. Maybe that means just decluttering 10 pieces a day. At the end of 5 days, that's 50 pieces that are gone. If you look at that for an entire month, that's like 300 pieces of paper you have decluttered. Again, don't underestimate these small chunks of time that you can knock some of this clutter to the curb or to the donation center. I really want you to commit to decluttering because it's going to offer you so much freedom, time and energy saved, connection for you and your family, presence, intention, happiness, contentment, all these things that so many of us want. It's so hard to get when we are covered in clutter because clutter is chaos. Which leads me to number 2, stop organizing your clutter. It makes me cringe to think about all the hours I used to waste when I didn't know any better trying to organize my way out of a cluttered life. It's simply not possible. I would go to Target every few weekends to get cute new bins and new bags and new ways to simply store the excess when really I just needed to declutter. I needed to get it out of my house so I could have peace and I could have my headspace and my physical space back in my home. Now, I'm not saying there isn't a time and place for bins. They have their purpose for organizing your stuff that you actually use, like, want, and need, right? The stuff you need in your home. That's all great. But I want you to shift your mindset to actually let go of the stuff instead of trying to reorganize it and find a space for it in your home. Okay, are you ready for number 3? Number 3 is just start. Getting started is so often the scariest, right? I've been there too. I've been so overwhelmed by clutter, like you might be now. And I'm like, I don't know where to start. So instead of starting, I just didn't. I was too afraid. What if I made a mistake? What if I got rid of something I shouldn't have? By the way, that's never happened. And I've been decluttering for like 5 or 6 years. Okay. So when you're decluttering, let's think best case scenario instead of worst case scenario. Okay. Best case scenario, you will get rid of that thing that you've moved around and has wasted you hours of your time and energy. You will get rid of it finally, and you will never think of it again. Makes me feel good just saying it. And here's the thing with getting started. Maybe you're like me and you're like, if only I had the right type of checklist, or if only I had this perfect strategy, or if only I had 2, 3, 4, 5-hour chunks of open time in my day, maybe then I would get started. And I get it. It would be nice to have this luxury of infinite time, but you don't have that and I don't either. So let's move on. Let's stop using that as an excuse from getting started, and let's just make it work for your schedule. Like I said, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes here, 30 seconds. It doesn't have to be this big thing, okay? Just start. What do I mean by that? Open one bin today. And set a kitchen timer or timer on your clock for 5 minutes or 10 minutes. Open one bin, open one drawer, open one shelf, open one box that's been sitting in the corner of your bedroom and calling your name for 2 months. Open one little thing or go through one little category at a time. I promise you the momentum you get from doing little spaces at a time will make a big impact. And really simple things, like as far as a strategy goes, using something like the 20-20 rule. I wish I made this up. I don't know who did, but kudos to them. 20-20 rule is this: if I can replace this for less than $20 in under 20 minutes, I'm going to let it go. Sometimes simple strategies like that really help our brains tip over from that emotional, what if I need this? This could come in handy, to more logical. Okay, I'm at peace letting this go. I'm going to let it go based on this boundary I've set in place for myself. Because so many things are so accessible, I have a lot of students who drop that 20-minute part of the 20-20 rule. So maybe your 20-20 rule is something different. Maybe you change the dollar amount to make it work for you and your finances and your lifestyle. And maybe you raise it, make it lower. Maybe you add, if I haven't used this since the year 2020, 2021, or since the beginning of 2022, right? You can make it work for you. Follow that boundary and it will help you let go of more. Okay, and remember, decluttering, it's not an overnight process. Some of you are facing lifetime amounts of things and it's gonna take time, but hear me out. I promise you it's worth it. And it is absolutely doable, even if you have a messy partner or messy kids and not a ton of time. Okay, I have all of those things and I was able to successfully declutter. Stick with me and I will help you too. Remember, progress is never linear. You will have ups, downs, ebbs, and flows on your declutter journey, okay? And that's okay. That's a beautiful thing. Learn to embrace it. And what's cool about decluttering is you can still make a lot of progress. There might be times and seasons in life you're not able to take action and declutter, because I always tell my students the biggest change that happens through the declutter process is the change that happens between our ears as far as how we view our things and our relationship with stuff. Because just like you have a relationship with your kids or people in your community, we also have a relationship with stuff. So as long as we are continually working on that, whether it's through actively decluttering or not, you can still make progress. So decluttering the things that are no longer serving you or your family is an amazing opportunity to cultivate, create a home and an environment that, like I said earlier, it is peaceful, calm, and truly adds value to your life instead of sucks your time and energy. For exclusive trainings on decluttering and keeping the clutter away, make sure to check out the link nearby to learn more about my Clutter Cure Club membership.